Okay, Jeremy here, Jeeps Unlimited Parts Breakers, 303-666-9020. Listing the infamous 9702 6-cylinder frame. This is the rarest of the rare as far as we're concerned, as far as call volume and whatnot. Normally there's a backlist on these. This was a Jeep that we bought, and when it got delivered, they had said it was a 4-cylinder, but I think they didn't realize that it was a 4-liter, not a 4-cylinder, because we lucked out. We scored a frame. I hadn't had any plans on getting one of these for a while. They've pretty much dried up for the most part, getting extremely hard to get. So if you're in the market, or you will be in the near future, definitely give us a shout and get a deposit put down on this one. Get it held, because I kid you not, in all the frames we have right now, this is the only 6-cylinder 9702. I do have at least one 0306, which can be converted fairly easily. They are slightly different, so if you're going for all original, this would be it. If you don't care, just don't want to do any welding or grinding, then that 0306 would fit the bill. So I do these to show you as if you're standing here in person. I'm not going to point out all the good, because it speaks for itself, other than the fact I always like to mention that it does have all the black paint you see on it. That's original black paint from the factory. None of this has been cleaned up or doctored in any way. The only thing we do to them is hit them with 4,500 pounds of pressure and PSI and about 300 degrees, and bake them pretty good. Get all the grime and stuff off. This had a lot of grease on it, which is what we like to see. Matter of fact, I was just in Pennsylvania and delivered a few frames out there beginning of November, and it blew my mind that they actually coat their vehicles, not just Jeeps, but everything out there. They have, you guys probably already know this if you're out there. I thought it was an old wives' tale, and customer of mine, really good guy, showed me the process, and I was just blown away. But yeah, it makes sense. So when we see them all greased up because they have an engine leak or something, it's the same thing. It really preserves them. So kind of a mess to deal with if you're doing that, but that is an option, I guess. Otherwise, there's some other products you can get on them to help them prevent from rust. But the only thing this one had is a set of Nerf bars on it, which not a huge fan of Nerf bars, because I usually have to drill into the frame, but this one they didn't drill into it, which is nice. They just welded them to the outer side of it, and we cleaned them up pretty good. But you could take a wire, a grinder wheel, and get this a little bit more. It's on the outside of the frame. You can see they didn't really penetrate into the frame. Matter of fact, they came off easier than I thought they would. So and you got these little rings from where the tubes were, and they were just frontal rings up. But we got Arrow here, wanting to be the star of this show, so like my other ones. I don't know where the other dogs are, but they were doing it earlier. Kira must be back. So coil buckets are good. I like to point out the cross frames, because even if those, a lot of times they're just, surface rust or oxidized, that one actually is really good shape. And then the area that loves to rust out on frames, if you don't already have this issue, is usually this back horn. This is obviously upside down right now, but that area loves to trap. So we do a couple things with our frames when they come apart. One, we try to buy everything unwrecked. And this one was a Jeep that came in under its own power. And we still pull a VIN on them just to make sure there wasn't any other big accidents or accidents at all. We really try to avoid those. If we do get one that's been in an accident, or we measure and it doesn't come out true, they get cut up. And we don't cut our frames unless they're bad. People call on half frames all the time. We rarely have stuff in like that, because we really go through our due diligence trying to make sure it doesn't happen. And then when we get them all down, we still put them in a jig, which actually lets them, we set them up to where we can squeeze around them and make sure that they are actually straight, because you never know. Usually ways to tell if they're not is you'll get a little bit of binding here when you go to pop the tub, and you'll notice it kind of springs out. And you'll usually get little bends on these brackets, even a minor bend. Those are kind of easy to overcome. It's usually when the frame has been hit one corner or the next, that you can't really tell until you get it on your Jeep and realize it never can be aligned until you get the frame straightened. So that's one of the reasons we really go through the extent like we do here. And then the other thing we do is we scope them, and that goes back to this area back here. This area is hard to see on the inside. Obviously, there's not a lot of access points to those. We run a Bluetooth cam down them and just make sure that the inside is as good as outside. And if there is anything that, we made note of it. If it's oxidation, it is what it is. If it's, usually you don't get oxidation. There's nothing that tears paint off on the inside of these. Nothing to rub them, I guess, unless they've just been packed full of sand. So scaling is an issue. Obviously, if it eats itself from the inside out, that's not a good thing. So This one checked out good, and it'll get the A grade that we go after. And then lastly, I always mention this because a lot of times these back bolts are broke, and these ones are not. So those are clean there. That's your back two for your torque pocket on your tub. And you got the rest of them are actually more holes, okay? Because they use a different kind of bolt. They screw up into. I'm upside down here. Those are for your body mount bolts there, and they're nice and circular. That's what I was meaning to say with that. Okay, so when they get rusty, they pinch rubber top and bottom, and it usually rusts those out. You get a little oblong. But on the other note, on these guys, which is where your rear bumper goes, okay, and those always break. They're little dinky screws, and they're clean. They're in there. The other ones that love to break are these guys for your shocks, and those are out perfect, right? So you don't have to mess with those. Just bolt it right on and screw on. And then the last ones that always break are these guys. And not only are they not broke, but you can actually see the nice, clean, shiny threads down there. So this is a really, really nice frame. You'll be happy with it. I'm gonna flip it over and show you the top side and then be done with this thing. You wanna help me real quick, buddy? I don't know what it is, but it ain't warm out here.
No, it is not.
I think we probably hit about 30 today. It's probably about 29 right now.
Somewhere in there.
All right. So, just the top's just as clean as the bottom. All right. That, show the sides here. And I've seen everything as far as what you want to do to prevent from doing what it probably has already done, unless you're dealing with some sort of accident frame. Okay, and then again, this is a 4-liter frame. This is a 6-cylinder frame. These mounts are up further. That's how you can tell a frame. The 4-cylinder mounts literally sit on top of the upper coil or control arm mount. So that's an easy indicator of what frame you're looking out there. If somebody's telling you it's a 6-cylinder and those mounts there for your engine are back further, they're back, literally they sit kind of adjacent to those upper mounts there. Matter of fact, that intermediate shaft mount is behind it and it's in front normally. So that's a quick way to see. Yeah, anywho. Okay, questions, comments, concerns, let me know. 303-666-9020, partsbreakers.com. This is the last of our TJ frames. So every TJ frame that we have in stock right now, which I think in total is about 6 or 7, there's one of those that's a 6-cylinder, 9702. I believe there's one that is a 03 to 06 6-cylinder, and then the rest of them are 4-cylinders from 9702, and then a couple that are 03 to 06 I believe we still have out here. And that's it. So, and this is probably all we'll see, unfortunately, until we get through this next busy season. We were hoping to get more frames in over the summer, but we're at that point in our life, in the life cycle of these TJs and whatnot, that they are just getting harder and harder to get. So the only options out there right now are what's out there at the moment, and yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But if you do need a tub, we do run some package tub deals this time of year. We do have some really nice TJ tubs over there. I have a 97 to 01s. That's a tub of its own. We have 2002s. Those are a tub of their own. That's a 1-year off tub. There's some subtle differences on those two. Definitely workable, but if you want to use one on the other, but they are some differences, and they can be a pain in the ass if you don't know what you got or what you're buying. So something to do. We do videos on those too, and I explain the differences. You can take a look at our YouTube channel for that information. And then again, we have probably not as many as I like right now going into this next season. Our season starts here in a few weeks. January 1st is our busy season all the way up till May. But 03 to 06 tubs, I probably have 4 or 5 that are grade A at the moment as well. So, and then we have a handful of YJ frames. I would say we probably have about 15 of those right now. We have 2 or 3 CJ solid frames, not very many of those. A couple JK tubs, 2 doors, 1 JK 4-door tub. Unfortunately, not as many of those as we'd like. We have several YJs that are coming apart, and we have, out of all these, there's probably 3 or 4 that are going to be grade A, probably 2 or 3 that'll be grade B, and the rest of that is all she wrote. Chris, you can leave it there. You can leave it there. Oh, I'm gonna leave it for the morning. So YJ frames, I have a few stacks of right now. I say few. There's probably about 15 total out here, with most of those being 4 cylinders and maybe 4 or 5 being 6s. So if you're needing a frame for one of those or know somebody that does, it's definitely a good idea if you're doing a project with a buddy or they're building one at the same time, even if it's a different year. Try to round those people up as you do these orders, because our hot crew we have, and they're awesome. They've been leaving once a week to go to the East Coast. It definitely saves you on some freight. They're the best to do anyway. Freight shipping, which we can do as well, is quite a bit more, especially since the bankruptcy of YRC. But with that said, if you can do a frame or a tub or both, or you know, if you got a buddy that wants to go in and do it, you'll save on the overall package of the product, the frame, the tub, because we do discounts over a certain amount. And then on top of that, you end up splitting the cost of the freight, because our delivery guys don't charge for weight, they charge on size, so it doesn't up them much if we stack them. Okay, tubs are a little different, but we can still get you a better deal that way. So it is December 9th, because football Sunday tomorrow. So Christmas is around the corner, and I say that just for the time of year. People find our videos sometimes years later. I had a guy call me on Friday. Is it Friday today? No, Saturday. Just tracking my days out here. Called me yesterday and was commenting on a video and wanted to know if we still had this frame. It was one I posted in 2014. So the likely chance if you find an old video is that we do not have that product anymore. But definitely give us a call, because you never know what we have in at the moment. And not everything is listed on our website. And the plan right now is to get about 1,000 parts, our main parts up there, and everything else is going to be call requested. Okay. All right. 303-666-9020, partsbreakers.com, and we'll go from there. Thank you.